A 16-year-old girl is able to read blindfolded, see things clearly. And this came in a podcast called Just Kidding with Sid. And this is quite recent. And on the YouTube version of the podcast, there are comments that say, hey, blind people should be taught this. Children should learn this because humans are evolving. Now, should you consider this program? This program is basically the intuition process program by Art of Living. The podcast was hosted on their campus. Where does this come from? What's the origins? Are you curious? This starts basically by a professor called Makoto Shichida, okay, in the 1950s, who started this idea of like right hemisphere activation, synchronization between the two hemispheres. In 2010, Ranjana Agarwal performed this blindfolded seeing on live television in Delhi. And in 2015 is when Art of Living started this program, the intuition process program, to help children learn this at a mass scale. Now, the question you might be wondering is, can this happen? Are they really doing it? Now, to answer that question, let's take a moment and think about what they actually do over these 2 to 3 days. Is that they're given these blindfolds and train their intuition to read better. But if you put this blindfold on, like most blindfolds, no matter how blind they look, it looks pretty blind. But I, for example, can read evolution in India. The practice migrated to India around 2010, initially appearing as midbrain activation programs, the first major exposure. There are gaps below. And the gap theory is the most obvious one, right? They're seeing through the gaps. But that sounds so simple to be true. But that's the best tricks, right? They're too simple. And in fact, they stuff cotton here. And one of my friends in a YouTube video demonstrated how putting the cotton actually makes it easier to read. And even if you notice, in this particular video, when the podcast host moves the book up, the girl has to turn, and then when he's covering the book she's reading with his hand, she has to move it. All of these pointing towards the gap is how she's also probably seeing it. Now, but am I making this video to say that, hey, you can't see without light hitting your retina? As a science educator, of course I care about that. But that's not why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because I have personal experience with this. In 2018, at my Khan Academy office, a group of children and a trainer were invited to demonstrate this to me personally, and I was not aware what they were going to demonstrate. And so when they came, I got to personally experience in a room this children demonstrating this, and I wasn't ready for it. And I had a 14-year-old boy doing this, and I could kind of see what was up. And so I switched off the light, and he kind of jolted. And I asked him what's up, and he opened up to me, and he took me aside and said, "Sir, we see through the gap, but initially they told us that we have to squint, we'll see through the third eye." So what these children are being told is that, hey, if you squint and put that in, what you're actually seeing is not through your eyes, it's through something else. And these children are being misled to believe that they are actually seeing things, but not through their eyes. So they're not like lying, they're actually being gaslit into believing something that's not true. And second, what he told me was, he's not allowed to discuss the method with his parents or what's happening with his parents. He can't open up to them about it. Now that's darker, because in some ways, he felt like an accomplice in this, because as he got older, you could see that he was beginning to see, hey, this kind of feels weird, but he couldn't talk about it. Eventually, the trainer dragged him away from me, and I looked and felt like this is not just a simple educational attempt that doesn't work. This is child exploitation. And the reason I wanted to make this video is that these names, right, keep changing. Right brain, hemisphere, midbrain activation, and today it's the intuition process. It mutates each time it gets debunked. Has it been debunked? Yes. In 2010, Dr. Narendra Nayak went and debunked this idea, and it got national coverage. In 2021 in KBC, a girl demonstrated this. And once again, because Dr. Narendra Nayak mentioned this, they had to remove all the episodes that aired that from the screen. And yet, with a new name, like a virus, this mutates and keeps coming out. So if you're watching this video, you're probably not going to be swayed by an attempt to get your child to see things without their eyes. But if there are parents who are on the fence considering this program, talk to them. It may not help all of them, but whoever is helped, you'll be doing a great service to their children.